You're listening to the Walt's World Podcast, brought to you by the Lost Bros Trading Co. Join your hosts, John and Kaylee, as they banter about all things Disney, including Disney parks, resorts, dining, fashion, and movies. They'll keep you up to date with the latest Disney news and rumors, and they'll share their best tips and insight to make sure you have the best Disney vacation possible. So to all who tune into this happy place, welcome. It's the Walt's World Podcast.
What's going on, friends? It's Tuesday, July 3rd, 2018, and this is episode number 11 of the Walt's World Podcast. I'm your host, John, and with me, as she is every week, my awesome friend, my favorite co-host, Kaylee.
Your only co-host, but that's okay. Hi, everyone.
Kaylee, today's episode that we released was a very special episode, and I have to admit, I apologize for the audio being terrible because I'm a moron and had my microphone turned around backwards because I just moved and everything was messed up. So I'm so sorry to everyone that my audio was so terrible. But luckily, Kaylee did most of the talking and her microphone was great. So
For once,
Kaylee didn't mess it up. Right. Perfect.
No, for once I actually got to talk.
Oh my gosh. You took it to a whole different level. You just dropped the elbow on me right there.
Sorry. Okay. Moving on.
Gross. That was rough. I'm hurt. Anyways, you're not my favorite co-host anymore. But anyways, we're talking today with two of our favorite people in the world. It's our second Tuesday Treats episode where we have a special guest the first Tuesday of each month. This Tuesday, we have CJ and Greg from the ZADD Crew podcast and ZADD Crew blog with us. How is it going, guys?
It's going good, and I'll assume that I'm going to talk first since you said my name first. So, everybody, it's
alphabetical.
Well, I recently moved to Florida, so I'm adopting Southern hospitality, and I was allowing the lady to go first.
How kind. Yeah, hey guys, great being on the show. I really appreciate you having us on today.
Thank you for being here.
You guys were a huge part of helping us start this podcast, so it's the least we could do to have you on our podcast and show off our mentors, our Yodas, so to speak.
I appreciate you holding us to such high esteem. It's a little weird for us being on this side of the microphone. I think Greg and I are going to like spending some time talking and then getting to close the laptop and not have to do the editing side of things.
I also have to mention, I'm proud of you, CJ. I thought for sure the moment he mentioned Yoda, you were going to slip into a Yoda impression.
I've decided there's two things that will not happen on this show. And one is I will not do any impressions. And number two is I'm going to try really hard not slipping into that host mentality. Because like that can be really hard, I'm sure. So those are the two things. CJ's going to work on stuff today.
That's right. This show has one host, CJ. And his name's John.
One proud host. That's right. Should be that way.
That's right. It's my job, buddy. My job. So I'm going to kind of give you guys a lowdown on how CJ and Greg kind of became family to us. CJ and I randomly met at Flower and Garden Festival this year, the first day, and I had messaged him on Instagram. I've been following his account for a while and messaged him on Instagram. Hey, I saw you're at Flower and Garden. Let's meet up, and I'd love to meet you. And so we met up and we were talking, and CJ and his wife were just awesome to talk to and so nice. And my wife, Krista, happened to say, hey, John's thinking about starting a podcast. And I was like, oh my gosh, why would she say that? Because so you never know. Some people are very protective about their properties, quote unquote properties, and their podcasts or their shirt business or their ear business or whatever. And so they don't want to share their secrets or how they do things. But CJ was just like vomited information at me. He's like, oh, podcast. And I haven't gotten rid of him since.
That's pretty much how that goes. Greg knows how that goes.
That's how CJ and I became partners, because he purchased a T-shirt from me. My T-shirt is at Energy Tees, and I don't even know what shirt it was. I guess it doesn't even matter. But it was like a year ago, and he hasn't left me alone since.
I know what shirt it was because I had it on today. It was your What a Wonderful Day shirt, and I actually had that shirt on today. So how about all that coming full circle, right?
No longer available. So, whoops.
But I like the shameless plug you threw in there. I like that.
Nice.
You just worked that in there, didn't you? He had that one locked and loaded, ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, day one, anybody who knows me, I know you know this about me. I'm all about community, man, and I'm all about building the friendships. And I knew that the moment that we met each other, I knew that your heart and your mind were in the right place. So, I knew that sharing any of my information with you was gonna equal like a friendship. It's not like you were gonna take my prize ideas and I was never gonna see you again. So, yeah, man, day one I had a good vibe. We had a good vibe with each other. So I was happy to share anything I could with you.
Did we just become best friends?
Do you want to go to the garage and practice karate?
Yes. Yes.
CJ
Karate
lost
chop.
me at prize ideas anyway. I have yet to see this list.
I'm kidding. When CJ first talked about having a co-host, making sure I found the right co-host, I didn't want anyone but Kaylee to be my co-host.
And
She is my Greg.
I can vouch for that because when we first had the conversation, you told me you had your co-host figured out, and that was the first name I ever heard. So I can vouch for that because we had conversations very early on in the process, man, when you were still brainstorming the ideas. So I can absolutely vouch for that, and I can also vouch for whether you want me to say this or not. Tough, I'm gonna say it. I heard some of the early stuff when you guys were in your practice, your practice episodes, and I remember the other side of that is though I remember what that was like when Greg and I were there, and so
Awful.
It was tough. It is tough sledding, finding like your way in doing podcasts and finding your voice. Y'all found it really quickly, and listening to even your practice stuff. I told you guys I really enjoy the voice and the view that you both bring. So, John, I think you had a good choice in Kaylee as the co-host. Don't tell her I said so.
Thank you.
Of course.
She was my choice before she even knew anything about the podcast. Like that's how early in the process it was, and yeah, I'm so happy with my choice. She's the best. She is the best. Period. No offense, Greg.
You really couldn't have gotten anybody else to do it anyway. So
Yeah, everyone else turned me down actually, and
Gosh, it was all just like the Country Bear Jamboree, right?
yep, all the boys that turned me down.
All the boys that turned you on turned you down.
Turn me down. That's right. That's right. I love that song. That's my wife's favorite show at Disney. Actually, human show at Disney. Just because of that song and the bears.
Now, when you open up like a park map from the Magic Kingdom, are those listed as non-human shows? That's a phrase I haven't heard before.
I coined that phrase actually.
Okay.
Yeah, Kaylee and I did an episode a couple of weeks ago called fireworks shows. No, I don't even remember what it was called, but it was cool. It was. We talked about shows. We talked about fireworks. And we decided, well, if we talk about all the shows, that's a lot of shows. So we had to narrow it down to like the human shows or the non-human shows.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Beauty and the Beast, that's the human show. PhilharMagic, non-human show. See,
Fair enough.
Come on. Muppets, the Muppet 3D, non-human show.
let's not even bring that up.
Kaylee loves the Muppets. Anyways, so what I want to know is how did you? So you already mentioned about CJ buying the shirt from you, but who came up with the idea of the podcast first? Was it CJ? Was it Greg? Were you just spitballing and it came out? How did that all start?
It was definitely me, but it was one of those things that I knew. So similarly to you, when the idea came up in my head that I knew I wanted to do this, Greg and I had already worked together in a couple different ways, and Greg has a vlog on YouTube, NRGT's vlog, and I kind of was already watching the vlog, and I really appreciated his like wit, his sense of humor. I appreciated that his attention to detail. So when the idea came to do a podcast, it was originally supposed to be a trio of us. This is a story that I actually just like recently told. It was supposed to be a trio, and the third person ended up not seeing it through, and I think it's one of the best things that could have ever happened. And it's nothing against that third individual. But I really think that what Greg and I have is something that, like, we didn't really work at this. You know, we really have this rapport naturally with each other. So yeah, it was my idea, but kind of going through, you know, here we are, we're creeping up, and it's fun timing. We're creeping up on episode 100. I can't imagine having done 98 episodes of the podcast with somebody else now that we've done it. So
That's so sweet. It's so you didn't go like on Craigslist and be like, man looking for man to help host.
No, because that's how you get yourself in trouble.
Okay.
So, but no, I'm dead serious when I say it's funny because actually the third individual was the person who came to me with the idea. I actually wanted to do this. I had wanted to be a podcaster for a long time. I'm humbled and lucky enough to say that I'm friends with a lot of really good podcasters in this. In this Disney podcast universe.
Here comes the name dropping.
I'm not even going to name drop them.
Here it comes.
I've kind of had the ability to like look up to a bunch of really good ones, and so I knew I wanted to do it, but I was just going to wait for the right time. This third individual approached me and said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this?" And I said, I told him, I was like, "Yeah, but I would love to bring this guy Greg in." And then within 3 weeks, that third person dropped out, and Greg and I looked at each other and we were like, "Still want to do this? Sure, okay." I'm serious. Like, it was just like that. We never looked back.
Up until that point, people have seen the videos I posted on YouTube, and he was the first person to ask me to do something more. And I was like, "You watch what I do, and you want to have more of my voice out there? All right, just know what you're getting yourself into, please."
I think similarly, like with John and I, we were supposed to have other people join us, and I think it really worked out in our favor, especially for me. This was very uncomfortable for me at first, as I'm sure you heard listening to the practice rounds. It was very hard for me to kind of like find my voice and actually speak up, because somebody likes to talk a lot.
I have no idea what that's like.
But I think it worked out great, and I can't imagine it any other way. But let's talk about how I met you guys. So it all started on a beautiful day at Animal Kingdom.
Should I play like some fairy music here? Like, or
I was in a merchandise line, of course, and I spotted a wild CJ.
That's appropriate way of describing it.
No, so I basically just walked up and I was like, "Hi." And everybody looked at me like, "Who is this tiny human?" Because I feel so tiny. And I was like, "Hi, I'm Kaylee." And you looked at me, CJ, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, hi." And so we just hit it off from there, and it was great. And I got introduced to Greg and your wife, and that day was just awesome.
Yeah, and that was one of those like double take moments, because I did not expect to I knew we had talked about, hey, let's try catching up that day. We knew that we were both going to be in Animal Kingdom for the 20th. It was something we knew we wanted to try seeing each other. But when the media event got, canceled and then moved and everything got kind of like thrown around, I knew that I would see you at some point, but I certainly didn't expect to just like poof, see you in the line. And so it definitely took me like by surprise. That initial moment was like, hey, like what? I was not expecting that. And yeah, you're right. It was, and then the best part was that I got to see you later. We got to take a couple pictures together at the Bird Adventure show.
Gross.
Which is, we won't. We'll save that for another episode. But yeah, it was really awesome, because sometimes those are the best ways, just like I did with John, just the happenstance, like random meets. It's nice because it reminds you that sometimes Walt Disney World, as big as it is, it can be a small place.
Yeah, exactly.
I met Greg in Italy.
Not in Epcot, too, like actual Italy. They were sharing a gelato with just one spoon.
It was
better the gelato than the scene from Lady and the Tramp with some spaghetti.
Oh, that was later. That was later that evening. Don't tell our wives.
Nicole
no
won't
shame.
mind.
No shame in our game.
So let's talk about the love for Disney. How did that start for, you and CJ and Greg? How did that start, the love?
As a kid, I mean, you know, I was raised on Disney. We at the time I grew up in New York, so we'd have to fly down to Disney as often as we humanly could. It only grew as I got older. I wound up meeting a girl who I'm now married to, who also shared a love for Disney. So it's been a lifetime thing. And we also got married here in Disney over at the Boardwalk Resort. So proposed in Disney, got married in Disney, honeymoon in Disneyland to switch it up because we had never been. So it's been a lifelong thing.
Yeah, and the reason I let Greg go first there is because his Disney history is actually a lot longer than mine. I went when I was a kid, but it was not a regular thing. And, we went one time when I was really young. I went again when I was in high school, and that was pretty much it. Didn't go again until Dana and I got married. And when I proposed, like one of the first places we discussed honeymoon was, hey, why not Walt Disney World? We both loved it when we were kids, hadn't been able to go in a long time. I went a total of 3 times before I was 18. So that was the deal. We were going to honeymoon in Walt Disney World, and I never looked back. That first year after our honeymoon, we went 3 more times. I went 5 times the year after that. Last year, I was there 8 times. You can see an upward trend here, and now we're looking at moving and being local. So that's like the pinnacle, I think, of the upward trend is when you just say enough's enough and you move. That's
what we did. Yeah, Nicole and I have been here since January, so we're about 5, 6, whatever that math is, 6 months in. Basically, we moved here, and it's not a joke, we moved here to be close to Disney. A lot of times people ask us, oh, why'd you move? Because you hate the snow? Correct, I don't like the snow. Number one reason, be close to Disney.
And to clarify, when I say move there, I mean couch surf at Producer Greg's.
No, although you do know where I live because you've been here. You're not welcome to the couch. Not because it's not even necessarily because I don't want you there, and I don't. But I don't think our dog Reba would actually relinquish her couch.
No, she won't. Not especially not for me.
No.
Oh my gosh, guys, that's so like I think it's funny how people's love for Disney starts because it's either you've been in it since you were a kid and you went all the time, or it's something that happened later in life. And I just find it so interesting because I know here at home in Tennessee, when I say so when people are like, oh, so what do you guys do? And I tell them what we do for a living. They're like, oh, what are your hobbies? And I'm like, Disney? And they look at me like, you're a 33-year-old man who likes Disney and Disney movies. And how many times did you go to Disney last year? I went 8. And they're like, why? Do you have kids? No kids. So, okay. And they just kind of slowly back away into the bushes, away like that Homer Simpson meme you see where he's slowly backing into the bushes. But I just own it. I love Disney and I don't care. It's just everyone has their thing. Some people fish. Some people jump out of airplanes. Some people collect things. We go to Disney.
It's so funny. 3 of you grown men and you just love Disney. I love it.
I don't know about this grown men thing, and I want to point something out to your listeners because I don't know how much they know about the behind the scenes thing, but you invited me here, so now I'm going to call you out. John mentioned that he doesn't have kids, but I can see where he is, and there are at least 3 stuffed animals behind him that are clearly designed and manufactured for children. So now I need to know more information about them.
I'm going to edit that out anyway, so okay. You just talk all you want. Yes, I have a Tigger, a Winnie the Pooh, and Lotso over here. He smells like strawberries.
I was about to say, does the Lotso actually smell like strawberries?
You've never smelt him in the parks? You never just grabbed him and smelt him?
I actually did at the Halloween party, and I was very disappointed he did not smell like strawberries.
No, yeah, the actual character you meet does not.
I was very disappointed.
But the stuffed animals do. Oh. I love it. My dog loves it. Loves Lotso. And he looks so sweet and kind, but he's a horrible stuffed animal.
So I want to go back because Kaylee said, the thing about, full-grown men who love Disney. Not only do we love Disney, but we're actually all full-grown men and women who are trying to make it a huge part of our lives. I have a media company that's based on Disney. We podcast Disney-related stuff. I'm a travel planner. It's you guys are taking on this whole journey. You guys know what it's like. So yeah, this is something that I look at it this way though. I wouldn't have been able to do this part of it when I was a kid. So maybe that's why I was kind of destined to take it on later in life. Because now in my mid-30s, mid-30s. Yes, Greg, don't, before you make fun of my age, in my mid-30s, because...
Are we being a little generous with that? Are we being a little generous with that?
He's
number?
rounding way down.
There's no burnout. It's all fresh, and I love it all because it's all new, so...
He's completely ignoring what you're saying.
It's all right, the listeners won't. That's the good news.
I don't know. I wouldn't count on that.
That's so funny. So you mentioned, Greg, that you're a travel planner, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. But I want to kind of.
No, you just said Greg.
Yeah, Greg's not a travel planner.
Gosh, sorry. I was looking at Greg's picture, and
why wouldn't you?
Oh, you were looking at Greg.
Good Lord.
So you mentioned, CJ, that you were a travel planner, and I want to talk about that in a little bit with some of the new stuff that's come out, new holiday deals and all that kind of stuff. But first, you also mentioned about the media company. So you guys just started a blog, a month ago almost? You guys are just killing it on that blog, and Kaylee and I both love it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That really is absolutely me just being the president of the blog. I don't do a whole lot of contribution stuff on it other than photography. It's just a passion of me to give like that platform to somebody else. And it was something Greg and I kind of wanted to do early on, knowing that we had the voice with the podcast, but how could we find a way to give other people a voice? And obviously the blog's a great way to do that.
I'm going to toot CJ's horn for a moment because I've mostly just been rude to him the whole time, but I actually don't dislike him. He may not be in the kitchen cooking the whole time, but he definitely handpicked all of the chefs. So if he says he doesn't contribute a whole lot, it's kind of misleading because he does contribute, but you may not see it. It's a lot of back-end stuff.
Yeah, I just really like to hear everybody else, That's why Greg and I have a good thing because I get to hear his opinion and it's different from mine. So this was an avenue to give other people with really great opinions. One thing that Greg and I always mention is we're two guys in our mid-30s who don't have kids, so we can't bring that type of viewpoint to people. But the blog certainly can, and we have some really great writers on there that are able to expand the family horizon.
The blog is amazing. The posts are great. If you want to just get insight on the parks, if you want to just check it out, they're always talking about the new things that are going on. I think it's amazing. I have my own blog, but it's literally nothing like your guys's. It's not even close, but I love reading yours. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, and the best part is, literally because of that, we've met people like you guys. So that's to me, that's the win right there. Is as you said, it's been the community and something that Greg and I are all about. We talk about it all the time, community over competition. So it's really it's a big deal to us to have friends like you guys. So thanks for making us what we are. It's, absolutely.
So what do you have coming up the rest of this week on the blog?
All right, so I know that we've got some Toy Story stuff coming out for Toy Story Land. Some coverage coming.
Wait, that open?
Yeah, that was a little thing that's happened.
What are you talking about? I've never heard of this.
And one thing that we did that was a little different from everybody else, we actually didn't really hop on the news train this past weekend because I didn't want to just fall into the mix of the other, thousands of people talking about Toy Story Land. So we're kind of letting the dust settle for a couple days, and then we're going to talk about it when people are interested again. I think if you even look at the wait times in the land itself right now, you can tell that like the immediate rush of it died down days later. So we're going to give it a couple days, but it is something we talk about. It's cool because I always love, like, we always have a merchandise post every week. We've interviewed Cakeworthy, which is a pretty well-known Disney brand. We've done an interview with their CEO and founder on our blog before, which I think is a really cool thing to be able to say we've done. So there's a lot of stuff over there that I'm really proud of my writers. They really go outside the box.
Speaking of Toy Story Land, Greg, I know you went. Kaylee, you went. Greg, give us your quick summary. Did they succeed in what they were trying to do, or did it just kind of miss the mark a little bit? What do you think?
Listen, I was at the Pop Century Resort visiting friends who were staying there, and they come up to me and said, hey, we just got word that they're doing a soft opening. This was Friday, so the day before the expected day for it to open. So we were like, we gotta go. It's like 6 o'clock, and they were allegedly stopping the soft opening by 8 o'clock, which, by the way, did not actually happen. It extended pretty much to the end of the night. So I wasn't planning on going to Toy Story Land. I wasn't going to go opening day because I'm not a fan of crowds or the heat, and that's like the perfect storm of those two things when something like that opens. So I was just excited at the idea that I even was able to go. I also had been avoiding all things Toy Story. As CJ knows and is tired of hearing, I'm super anti-spoilers. I don't like knowing anything about anything. So I know, the media teams were allowed to visit the park early. Didn't watch it. I was like staying off of Instagram those couple of days. I loved it. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't do any of the rides or eat any of the food because the line, I think, was just under 3 hours or something for the Dog Dash. But as far as just the land itself, and I got a feeling when I walked into Toy Story Land that can't be replicated. So even if you might hear that it missed the mark, or maybe it's not as big as it could have been, I still had that feeling, and no one will take it away from me. I thought it was cool.
I completely agree. And I do wish that I would have stayed off Instagram leading up to the soft opening and the grand opening on Saturday, because I felt, and I said this when we were recording yesterday, I felt like I already knew what was coming. And so that took away the elements of the surprise, but the emotions were still there. Like you can't take away that moment when you just first see it, especially at night, seeing it in the soft opening with all the lights. It was amazing. I did the rides. They did a great job. I ate breakfast. It was amazing. I don't see how you could be disappointed. I really don't.
It's only if your expectations were probably unrealistic, I think, would you be disappointed, personally.
I agree.
So you kind of touched on something, though, that's kind of like the negative of what we're all doing now, is that, like, and this is what I talked to Dana about when we really first started getting into ZADD Crew Media. Disney's going to be different for all of us now. It's part of what we do to know the spoilers, to know the news before it happens, and to see all the pictures in the video. And I know it's changed things for Greg, because I know we've talked about it before. It's definitely changed things for me. And Kaylee, you just said it kind of changes things for you. John, I'm assuming it's the same for you. It totally is a game changer. And that, if there is ever one tiny thing that, and I don't want to say I regret or have any remorse. Wouldn't change anything, but if there is anything that's kind of like the rain cloud of what we're doing, it's that there is no surprises anymore.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Spoiler alert all the time.
Oh yeah. I think that I wish I could go to the park sometimes and just take a day and not have my phone or my camera, or have that mindset of, I wonder what I need to taste. I need to eat this, and have a critical mind about it. And sometimes you wish you could just turn that off. But at the same time, I love it, and I would take the spoilers, and I'll take all those things to be able to do this, because I love it. And I know you guys would too.
I love, taking pictures and going on the Instagram stories and, recording everything and showing, like my emotions when I see things for the first time. But there's also that small little part of me that just wants to keep it for myself. Even when we ate at Woody's Lunchbox for breakfast, me and Cheddar Biscuits, we took the pictures for the food, and then we just ate and sat and talked and took in the land. I didn't go on the Insta stories and showing myself stuffing my face. So that was kind of a nice time for us to just be able to like soak it all in and not feel, because there's always kind of like that pressure, like you almost feel guilty when you're, you have the Instagram and you have the podcast and you have the blog. You almost feel guilty not sharing. But I didn't feel guilty at all in that moment, because I felt like I had already shared so much that I just wanted some time for me and Cheddar Biscuits to take it all in.
I think that's a good piece of advice. I mean, because I wasn't planning on going there for the soft opening, I didn't have my camera, I just had my phone. But I did grab some pictures, and I had friends waiting on the line to go on the Dog Dash, and they asked me to stay with them. And I was like, it's not that I don't want to hang out with you, but I just want to go walk around. I don't know the next time I'm going to have the opportunity, not having to be anywhere else, and it's just me to just go walk around and like actually look at the stuff. So I took a bunch of pictures, and this is going to sound silly, but I waited like a solid hour before I even posted them. Like I took the photos and enjoyed it, and then like went like an hour later and sat down and like edited them and did a quick like story post of them. And it was a great idea. So I guess if you want to, if it's hard for you or difficult for you out there to feel like you're being able to experience the magic of Disney, do what you can, switch it up. If it's not working for you, go without your camera or your phone. Don't go without your phone. It's 2018. Go with your phone. But moderate what you do. Like, you don't have to go crazy with it. Or take those pictures, but maybe don't edit and post them until later and enjoy it. And I didn't mean to do that or intend to do it. I did it, and I noticed a difference, and it was awesome. I had a great time.
If you don't take your phone, what are you supposed to play the Play Disney app on?
And I totally forgot about that when I was there. I was on another planet. Well, I guess I was in another land. It was a very different and unique experience because it was the first time I got to walk into a new thing that had been talked about for so long, and it was a little overwhelming, if I could be corny for you. I again highly recommend just kind of going in there with using your own eyes more than the eyes of your camera.
Toy Story Land, Greg, you didn't eat anything. You didn't try anything. No food.
Well, I really wanted a dessert, and the only dessert available was the Pop-Tart. And I know that's not really what it is, but like it's a long Pop-Tart. So it wasn't gonna do it for me. And I was too busy. I literally was walking up and down like the drag of Toy Story Land, just looking at stuff. There was a bunch of people there that I wind up knowing because, the locals come out of the woodwork when you hear there's a soft opening, and that's exactly what it was. There was just people that I recognized either because I know them or I've seen them on YouTube or Instagram. So no, I did not partake in the food.
Kaylee, fill them in on what the greatest food was at Toy Story Land, in your opinion.
Oh, the s'mores French toast. Amazing.
I believe it. That sounds delicious to me.
Yes, if you love, honestly, it wasn't too sweet. I was going to say if you love sweet breakfast and you'll love this, but it really wasn't an overwhelming amount of sweetness. It was just enough, super ooey gooey, like a regular campfire s'more. I just loved it, and I loved how unique it was. There's nothing around Walt Disney World to me that is compares to that. So I highly recommend trying it.
I think all the food looks amazing at Toy Story Land. Honestly, it's a huge step up. Hollywood Studios was lacking in the quick service department, anyways. So I think anything would have been better. Would have been an improvement.
You're not a fan of the Galactic Chicken and Waffles, or whatever it is, the Dark Side Chicken.
I love the Backlot Express. I'm nostalgic for the Backlot Express.
Me too.
Because it's old MGM, but I go there just because I'd rather go there than to Rizzo's rat-infested pizza place.
Well, that, and you like sitting around equipment and weird props, and you sit next to the clock-in clock that has fake celebrity names on it. I noticed recently, some old-time celebrities. You gotta look.
Let's play a little game here. I know this is an episode. Some of your most popular episodes are when you guys do the keep, cancel, or replace game.
I would like to replace CJ next.
So why don't you guys, since it's your game and you guys play on your show, why don't you guys give us the lowdown of what keep, cancel, and replace is?
So pretty much it's the old school version of a much naughtier game, but you're picking one thing to keep, you're picking one thing to totally get rid of, and you're picking one thing that you're gonna reimagine, kind of like back in the day, the marry, hang out with, murder game. Should we say Netflix and chill? The marry, Netflix and chill / murder game. So yeah, that was kind of our gist to make it Disney friendly, right? And so the gist is you pick 3 things and make the other people keep, cancel, or replace. So I guess with the permission of the host, do you want me to get you started? Because I thought of 3 already.
You're on it. You do it. I've got 3. You go first.
All right, so I figured the best way to kind of introduce is let's start with the 3 most recently added lands across Disney properties. So keep, cancel, and replace Toy Story Land, Pandora World of Avatar, and New Fantasyland.
Oh, man, that's a tough one. Kaylee, you go.
Oh my gosh. Toy Story Land, Fantasyland, and Pandora. Oh my god. Ooh. Okay. Replace Pandora. Keep Toy Story Land, cancel Fantasyland.
I think Greg just passed out over there.
Do I have to answer this? Because I don't want to. This is too difficult.
This is a hard one.
The trick is you ask the hard ones so that you don't have to answer them, because I don't have to answer this now. So,
is it me? Is it Greg? It's me. I would. Oh man, keep Toy Story Land, replace New Fantasyland, and cancel Pandora.
So, what's your replacement idea for New Fantasyland?
That's not fair. That's not keep, cancel,
And even
replace,
newer
and why.
Fantasyland?
You're that person like at school. You were the teacher that was like, they'd be like a yes or no
that is
question.
kind of like the replace. You got to replace it. Same thing with Kaylee. Like the replacement needs to be. You got to. It could even be like just a simple one sentence.
I would
answer,
I know we used to have Toontown, a version of that at Disney World. So I would like to see a Disneyland, how Disneyland has like Roger Rabbit stuff, because I love Roger Rabbit, period. Of course, that's my generation of Disney there, but I would love to have New Fantasyland be replaced with a Toontown-esque type, like Disneyland Toontown.
I could go for that.
That's cheating. You can't steal my answer.
Well, I said that I would replace Pandora. I didn't say I would
that's true.
replace
Okay,
Fantasyland.
gotcha.
If you
Fine.
ever even listen to me.
Well, I was thinking.
So then, what's your Pandora
yeah,
replacement?
Kaylee.
Oh, gosh, this is so hard. Let's do Wakanda, Black Panther. Bring it in.
Okay. I'm cool with that. All right, producer Greg.
You know how earlier, not that long ago, I joked that I would replace you? I guess I wound up meaning it, because this is not a fun one for me. Keeping Toy Story Land, replacing Pandora, which is not fair because I love it, and canceling Fantasyland because the only other option left was cancel.
Exactly.
And what's your replacement idea?
Just adding something to it. I like it. I like as is. I don't dislike the River Journey ride, which I think some shade was thrown on it.
Yeah, because it's horrible.
By somebody. I was on it last night. It's a little brief. It could be a little longer, but I'm one of those people where I like the relaxing nature of it. And that friggin' song gets in your head. Maybe we can replace that. Whatever the shaman lady or whatever. I can tell I'm very well versed in the Pandora
love
language.
that, Rod,
that
obviously.
shaman lady. Whoever she is, maybe just a different song. There we go. That's my replace. Change the song on the rant.
Okay. What about you, CJ?
Oh, you're going to make me answer my own question. Wait.
Well, it's his show. We'll do what he wants.
Okay, I mean, I will. It is your show. That's a screwball. We've never had to do that before. I was not prepared for this one at all then. All right, well, it's a no-brainer for me. I'm definitely, and I mean, I haven't seen Toy Story Land yet, so but I cannot imagine that there's anything in Toy Story Land that's going to wow me to the same way that Pandora wows me, so I'm 100% keeping Pandora. Enough goes on in Fantasyland. We don't really need New Fantasyland, so we can cancel New Fantasyland. Toy Story Land's getting a replacement because I have to be honest with you, when I hear things like, hey, we're going to add a whole new land to a park, the same thing they're doing right now with Star Wars Land, the Galaxy's Edge, it worries me a little bit. 2 rides and 1 little restaurant I don't think is really enough. It's the same thing they just did with Pandora, and Pandora proved it. It's it's just maybe a little bit more. So I think Toy Story Land could have used a little bit more, and maybe something, I know it's adult friend, or I know it's designed to be family friendly, but something that's more designed specifically for adults. Yeah. So there you go.
Don't you think that, I know the theming in Pandora is incredible, but don't you think the theming in Toy Story Land is a little bit more eye-catching? There's more to kind of keep you occupied in a whimsical kid kind of way. Like if you take your kid to Pandora, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, that's a weird looking plant. Why are people touching that plant so weirdly? Like, whereas Toy Story, it's kind of like, because it's obviously,
by that same argument, I think you could take kids over to Art of Animation and show them those big figurines over there, and they're going to spend time over this. So I think a lot of it just has to do with the design and the kitsch factor and like the character part of it. And I'm cool with it, and I'm not saying necessarily take that away, but I think adding something that's more strictly adult friendly would be a big plus.
So you want to bring back Pleasure Island?
that's what it sounds like to me.
At least maybe like a one e-ticket attraction, one thriller.
Guardians is coming to.
Something
You got
fun.
Epcot. Epcot is adult attraction basically in itself.
Well, listen, if you hear Toy Story Land is coming, why would your expectation be adult thrill ride? And I'm not trying to give you a hard time, like, that's silliness to me because it's Toy Story. Like, it's not that it's kids, like, only, but, like, it's pretty
Take
kid
a wild
specific.
ride in Andy's mom's car. Like,
And you're supposed to be a toy. Like,
Yes.
I don't know any adult toy.
Well, then you haven't lived.
oh my god.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You're
I
tricked
mean,
down to
in
a
some
toy.
cultures, I think Buzz and Woody are the toys you're talking about.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
This is when on our show we would be going, there you go, patrons.
Oh, we've lost control of this episode. Well, this lost its clean
Wow.
rating real fast, didn't it? Walt's World After Dark. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh gosh. Oh my goodness. I don't even know how to come back from that one.
Well, this is a podcast that airs exclusively on like Showtime, right? So we're safe. There's no limit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's my keep, cancel, replace, okay? And this is a hard one. Ready? All-star sports, all-star movies, all-star music.
I can go right now. No problems.
Because can you replace all of them? Is that possible? Because is that an option?
All right, so look, as a travel planner, movies I don't mind so much because at least they have the family suite option. So we're going to keep movies because at least they have that to offer. Music is the one that we're going to replace because it just needs like some updates. So let's make it like a Fantasia style music. You know, add a little bit more like Disney to the music style, like side of it, and cancel All-Star Sports because... What? Why? ESPN's the one thing that Disney has connected to sports right now, and that's not doing too hot. So let's just move on sports. There you go.
Literally, that would be my same 3. I mean, I absolutely hated movies when I was there, but I can't deny that the theming with the Dalmatians and the Toy Story area, I really did like that part of it. Definitely keep that. Replace music and cancel sports because like you said, I don't even see a need for the sports. Like, goodbye. Music, I just think it needs to be updated with more current music. Like, what about like some Moana or some,
Taylor Swift.
I don't know.
Giant Taylor
No,
Swift
not Taylor
statues
Swift.
everywhere.
But just update it to more current Disney movies, maybe. Fantasia would be awesome, but I mean, you can kind of see
There's
that
already Fantasia at the
in
movies,
parks.
though.
That is
True.
true. That is true.
More Disney related music though, for sure.
Yeah.
Not so much like the decadal music stuff, the jazz and
Yeah, the jazz. Yeah, definitely.
No.
Maybe some people like jazz, and I'm keeping all-star music as is. Although I don't necessarily have like this love in my heart for jazz, it's just my way to segue into this. I would replace all-star movies. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with it, but a lot of movies have come out since that resort was created and built, so maybe we could just inject some new movies. I know some of the newer movies are represented in Art of Animation, so I'm not saying bring those movies there, but just do the movies that weren't covered. And canceling All-Star Sports because it's a terrible acronym, and there's really nothing to it. And also, what is sports?
Do you want to cancel Alien Spinning Saucers as well?
Yes.
Okay. Just check.
Also, I haven't been on it, but I guess from the same principle I just laid out,
Yeah.
on acronym alone, yes.
So I'll answer that too. So I would replace All-Star movies because, like Greg said, there's how many movies have come out since Mighty Ducks? I mean, I'd love Mighty Ducks. Like, Mighty Ducks 2 is like one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time, and it always will be. You cannot convince me otherwise. The second one, America. The Bash Brothers. Come on.
Questionable decisions, but we'll move
Kenan
on.
Thompson.
For the respect of your
Okay.
You got
podcast.
kid Kenan Thompson playing roller hockey. Come on.
That's exactly the reason it should be out of your top 10, but we'll
Goldberg.
move on.
Oh, okay. So replace it. You got to throw in some of the newer movies. They have a Toy Story section, so that's on the right track, right? So just make that a little bit more. Maybe throw in a Tangled area. I could see a Tangled area with a tower or something like that. But so replace that. I would keep All-Star music and I would cancel sports. Even though I think the sports had good intentions, it just doesn't fit Disney anymore because ESPN is bombing. It's losing
Maybe
so much money.
They could just call it All-Star Sports Teams, and that's where all the sports teams can stay.
Well, they do
and then
anyways.
they can leave the other All-Star resorts. It's like that way anyways. They might as well just name it then.
And I will say the movies, though, not only do they offer the family suites, but they also do offer the new renovated rooms if you're into preferred. Right, Kaylee? Kaylee stayed there this weekend and did not get one of the renovated rooms, even though she asked for it several times. Yeah, stuck in Mighty Ducks without a doorstop, and that was her first thing. I asked her what was wrong with the room. She said, first thing, no doorstop.
I don't think I've ever used a doorstop in a hotel room.
Well, it wasn't the fact that we weren't able to use it. It was just the fact that there was a huge hole in the floor where the doorstop was.
Who's going to stop your door, Kaylee?
I don't know.
Okay, so that was fun.
I can't tell if that's sarcastic or not.
I'm sure it's a lot better on your show. I think I ruined it with mine. I don't think mine was as good as I thought it was in my head. I think that was the
Listen,
problem.
give yourself some credit. CJ's was too difficult because I like all
There's no
three of the
such thing.
things. Whereas with the All-Stars, I think that is, like, more realistically, of the two things presented, I think some things will actually change in the All-Star resorts before
so.
we get rid of Pandora or New Fantasyland.
But Toy Story Land, let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
It just opened.
Yeah, who cares? It's been open a week, maybe, not even.
Tomorrow.
Not worth it.
Oh, I didn't tell you that tomorrow my rumor on our podcast is regarding the demolition of Toy Story Land.
You know what? Go for
It's
it.
not adult enough for CJ. Jeez.
That's right. According to my official rumor report for tomorrow is, according to CJ from the ZADD Crew podcast, the Toy Story Land does not hold up. So it's being demoed. Let's see how that goes over.
I'm going to put that out there.
Well, you have a soundbite of it, so there you go.
I'm going to put that
news.
on our story tomorrow morning. Straight from the ZADD Crew. CJ, it's ZADD Crew. We have decided we want to play a little game with all of our guests that come on. And we're going to call it a little Disney lightning round. So I'm going to quick questions, quick answers, okay? So you can't have this thinking about it. We want a quick response with these, okay? I've got several questions. So we'll start with Greg first because I feel like Greg never gets the love and is able to go first. Just as a host, I know how it is because we kind of take over, as Kaylee has mentioned several times in this episode.
All right, hit me.
All right. So, as soon as Greg answers, CJ, you go. Ready? First, favorite ride at Magic Kingdom.
People Mover.
Splash Mountain.
Favorite table service. Anywhere.
Ohana.
California Grill.
Favorite quick service.
Oh, crap.
You're thinking too long.
I'm sorry. The very first thing that came to my mind was Pecos Bill, so I guess that has to be the answer.
Satuli Canteen.
I agree with that. Favorite Disney sidekick.
Me. Next.
Launchpad McQuack.
Back to Greg.
Nice.
Sidekick.
Oh, you didn't accept
Gotta give a
me.
real answer.
That really was his answer.
Cheater.
I don't even know any. Give me some sidekicks to choose
What?
What?
Do you even have a podcast?
You're talking to a guy who doesn't remember movies.
I have this condition that doesn't really exist. It's not recognized by, like, anything real. I don't remember movies. So, like,
I'm
It's a true thing.
disgusted, sir. You got
it's real. And I'm derailing your game, and I'm sorry.
Pascal, Mushu.
Miko.
All movies I've seen but don't remember. And I'm not kidding.
And you could ask him what movie they were all from, and he wouldn't even be able to tell
Oh,
you.
Pocahontas, Mulan, and I forgot the first person. Oh, Tangled.
Well, there you go. Proud of you.
Come on, man. I'm just disappointed. Hey.
Okay, I'm used to it.
Favorite Disney princess? Which is funny because you're grown men.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Cinderella.
Oh,
Producer Greg. Rapunzel.
favorite snack at Disney?
peanut butter pie at the Contemporary. Don't go there and eat them up, but that's mine.
There's no problem for him answering that one at all. He almost jumped out of his
He can remember
skin.
that, but he can't remember Mushu or Pascal.
Nope. Caramel corn, specifically at the Caramel Kitchen in.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. Give me a second. Oh, my mouth just started watering. Okay, Flower and Garden Festival or Food and Wine Festival?
Flower and Garden.
Flower and Garden.
Pretty flowers.
Same Z's.
Favorite of the 4 parks?
Magic Kingdom, always.
Animal Kingdom.
Mickey's Not So Scary or Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party?
Very merry because it coincides with my birthday, usually.
Very merry because snow on Main Street.
Purple Wall or Bubblegum Wall?
Walls. Really? Purple Wall. Galactic or regular, they're all the same to me.
Purple Wall too, not because of the wall, but because of the memories.
Favorite bathroom?
Depends on what I'm doing. Oh my gosh. Not the tangled bathrooms. I prefer resort bathrooms. Is that too vague of a thing? Like I love the beach club.
In room bathrooms?
No. Like in the lobbies and stuff.
Okay. Well. Okay.
I like the ones Pandora next to Setuli Canteen.
What?
Yes, love those.
Yep.
I haven't really
Because
put much thought into
people,
bathrooms.
a lot of people don't even know that there's really bathrooms there. That's why I
They're
like
so
them. 'Cause
dirty.
People don't.
They're always dirty when I'm in there. There's toilet paper everywhere when I'm there.
No
Everything's
way.
wet.
They're so modern.
Well,
That's
I
because
love
you
them.
got to stop making a mess, John.
It's the Navi, anyway.
Okay. Favorite of the Fab Five characters?
Mickey.
Yup. Goofy.
Oh, I didn't know if that was just the way you laughed or
I thought you were choking.
joking.
I thought his nervous tick came back out, so I don't know.
That helps too.
Favorite Disney prince?
Aladdin.
It's a tough one.
Flynn Rider.
Is Flynn a prince?
I mean, we're gonna give him props here. He's on the float with her. He's on the float with her and
See,
everything.
he would be mine too, but then I thought about it, I was like, is he really a prince? Kaylee?
I mean, I guess he's not like a true definition. Like, they don't call him Prince Flynn Rider, but like,
Kaylee, what do you say?
I say he's a prince. I love Flynn.
Okay. I love Flynn Rider too.
And exactly, he's on the float. So if you're on the float, you're pretty
If I
official.
could be any character at Disney, I would be Flynn Rider.
But your smolder just isn't up to par.
What? Have you seen my Instagram? My smolder is so on point. It's hard to handle. Like, I'm afraid to even do it right now with you guys seeing it. Like, it's intense.
Try us. All right.
You look like you're pooping.
are we done yet? No, I'm just. It's getting awkward. Are you still staring at me? I can't.
Rude.
That was just very uncomfortable.
You're
to
rude.
witness.
You looked more like you were trying to do a rock impression
I can
with the eyebrow.
obviously look like him. Look at these guns.
Yes.
If you could be one character at Disney, who would you be? Like, if you could be the cast member that is the character, who would you be?
Goofy.
Well, this is an interesting flip. Mickey Mouse.
Oh, yeah, it is. Kaylee, what would you be?
Yeah. Ooh, that is so
You
hard.
could be a face
but
character.
I would probably say Mickey Mouse or Pluto.
I would be
Just because everybody loves them. Like, I can't even imagine what it feels like for, like, little kids to just run up to you and be like, Mickey.
favorite Disney movie non-Pixar.
Oh, all my favorites are Pixar.
Post
Lion
hold on,
King.
post
He can't remember his
1972.
favorites.
The Lion King.
Jungle Book.
Nice.
Favorite Disney World area music.
Tomorrowland.
That's a tough one.
He
That's
loves
like the
It's a
first
Small
one.
World.
Future World. I like Future World's music.
Yeah. Guilty pleasure Disney movie.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Well, I didn't know this fact about you before I made the list. I'm thinking.
Come back to me.
I feel like Lizzie McGuire movie would be your guilty pleasure.
I haven't seen it.
Greg, come on, man. CJ,
Do you want me to get up in this and save it real quick?
save this for us all.
Tangled.
Yes, that's a good answer.
Okay, I do like that movie. I vaguely remember it. That's a lot for me, so I'll take that one too.
Kaylee,
Does High School Musical count?
That definitely counts as something you should feel guilty for enjoying.
But Zac Efron. It's like my childhood dreams.
Oh.
OMG.
I'm just glad no one said "Song of the South." That would have been a bad choice. I mean, you don't know. I mean, you guys are like, zippity do crew, so
Well, we don't specifically talk about the Song of the South. It's just like
and it's not like
far removed.
It's not like our banner war cry or anything.
Mine would be Aristocats.
Why is that a guilty
Because
pleasure?
I'm a man.
It's such
I'm a
good
grown
Disney
man.
movie.
Favorite Disney animation pre-1972. So we're talking Walt Disney lifetime.
Snow White.
I was about to say it has to be. It would have to be the original Snow White. Yeah, the OG.
Kaylee?
That's the first thing that came to my mind as well, Snow White.
Wrong. It's Peter Pan. Next. Last one. MGM or Hollywood Studios?
Hollywood Studios. Fight me for it.
Studios post hat. Let's go. Throw down. I know, John. I know you want that hat.
No,
back,
I
man.
hate
You put
the
that-
hat.
Oh, I thought you.
I
loved that.
want the hat.
I knew one of you did. We will fight to the death for
I
it. Let's
love
throw
the
a knife in
hat.
the ground. Let's go. But, yeah, no
I
hat.
would like to add to my answer. Hollywood Studios, but bring back the backlot tour, specifically the facade of the Golden Girls house. Move on.
The backlot tour, yes, that needs to be brought back, but I can live without the little car show that was there.
All right. Well, you're all wrong on that one. So it's MGM is the correct answer. Thanks for playing along. And the stupid hat is stupid
Why is it stupid?
because it blocked the Chinese theater.
I'm about to get so mad. No, it's not stupid. It's Sorcerer Mickey. It's his hat. And there was an awesome pin shop underneath the hat when it used to be there, and I miss that as well. So go ahead, Greg.
If I know that you're saying it blocked the Chinese theater, but if you were to step back for a second and think of the two images, the Chinese theater or a Fantasia Mickey hat, which of the two is more iconic to Disney?
Chinese theater.
You're wrong.
Yeah, no.
The Chinese theater has so much history, though, with Disney. That's why it was there. It's because that's where Mary Poppins was premiered and so many other Disney movies premiered at. That's why it was there. And the hat blocked it. So why even why not just leave the water tower there? Put the hat on top of the water tower if that's what they wanted to do. The water tower really was the original icon of that park. So bring back the water tower. Why don't we start that on Instagram and Twitter? Hashtag bring back the water tower.
You do that and you let us know how it goes.
Oh, it's gonna go great. It's gonna go great. That's the show for this week. We are so happy that Greg and CJ, I put your name first there, Greg. Greg and CJ joined us this week on Tuesday Treats. Make sure you guys head over there to ZADD Crew podcast, download it, check it out. It's amazing. Always learn something new every episode I listen to. They always have a feature Friday where they have someone come in from the Disney community and they do what we just did, talk to them and have a blast, grilling them about Disney and talking about their love for Disney. And then, of course, their blog. Make sure you head over and check out that. So, Greg, CJ, thank you guys so much for being on our little podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And congrats on everything you guys are up to and you're doing. You're doing a great job. I'm loving listening, so keep it up.
Thanks, guys.
It's been fun.
So, if you enjoyed our show, we would love for you guys to subscribe and head over to iTunes and leave us a little review. Every review we get, we always read on our episodes so that you can possibly hear your review on next week's episode. If you got any questions for us or show topic ideas or things that you want us to talk about, email us, waltzworldpodcast@gmail.com, or hit us up on Instagram @waltzworldpodcast. We just want to hear from you guys. We would love to hear from you guys. So, with that, I'm John.
And I'm Kaylee. We'll see you next week.